Good afternoon, everyone. New vegetation index, Sahara Desert shrinking by 8% over the last 3 decades. Look into the crystal ball. Whoever controls this new grow zone is going to dominate the 21st century because it will produce the most food on our planet, more than North America. Enter the Grand Renaissance Dam. It's going to power Eastern Africa's needs to set up the grow zone along with a stablecoin, cryptocurrency, dam filling, Egypt upset, Sudan upset, suddenly a Tigray conflict, just one region over. And you know what? It was the old guard in that same region from 1991 to 2018 that we read about. Horrific iron fist tactics. They're trying to take power back again, and if they can break away, they get the Tekezi hydro project, 300 megawatts, same area. And speaking of the old guard, the Aksum, who controlled all the trade routes, Aksum is in that same region as well. They even minted their old gold coinage. A new report reveals TikTok tracks you even if you've never made an account. To put this to the test, a Vice reporter downloaded and used the app but never created an account. He then submitted a GDPR request. What TikTok sent him was shocking. Everything from his IP address, what he searched online, what videos he watched, when he watched them, which were then shared with third parties like Facebook. Staying anonymous online so corporations can't track you is more important than ever. And the first step to doing so is using a VPN. You can head over to virtualshield.com, and in the download tab, I'm going to choose Firefox. And click Install Now to add the Virtual Shield add-on. It's just that easy. And get started with your free 30-day trial. Install it, click Connect. You'll see the shield turn from red to green. And you'll see how from my initial service provider, I was able to even change my IP, Virtual Shield Network Protected. Go to virtualshield.com/adapt2030 or click the link in the description box below to get Virtual Shield today for 50% off and free for 30 days. And now, on with the video. And we're going to start right here with the vegetation index, the 1-year moving average. Starts way over in the year 2000. Far right is 2021. Which direction do you think that black line is going? Up means more vegetation on the entire planet. Plant food in the air at higher densities. That's awesome. So this came off What's Up With That, who featured the NASA Vegetation Index and the findings within the report. The Sahara is shrinking and becoming greener. Conjecture was that the North African monsoon was going to shift, push more rainfall into not only the Sahara, but parts of the Sahel, which explains why it's also in a cycle of greening and desertification over thousands of years, which indicates that we are going into a multi-thousand-year shift in the climate at the moment. And they had some exact numbers here, 8% shrinkage of the Sahara Desert over the last 3 decades. Well, in the beginning of the cycle, there's a little bit of onset, and it takes a bit more time for the shift to occur. So you could expect the second 8% to occur faster than the first 3 decades. This might occur in the next 20 years, 15 years, but it will occur faster than the very, very onset of the greening. And also a little bit further down in the article here, the entire global vegetation index surges 10% in just 20 years. Well, that's for the entire globe. You can be very specific and pinpoint different locales that you're looking for. Western China and Kyrgyzstan, that's another area that's becoming greener along with the Sahel. This has gargantuan ramifications for politics, which we're seeing beginning to play out right now as these new grow zones are moving to different areas of either countries, continents. Also with What's Up With That, if you're interested in that kind of greening index, there's 3 more articles here about leaf abundance, fertilization, greening in the earth, and how CO2 acts as plant food for this impetus. Now back to Africa here. This is a slide out of one of the presentations I was giving about the switch in the grow zones and where it's moving to. And whoever controls this grow zone is going to dominate the 21st century because these 13.8 million square kilometers, larger than the United States and Canada combined. Plus there's double growing seasons. All it has to do is get wetter. And then you're going to need a little bit of electricity, which is lacking at the moment, and Grand Renaissance Dam inbound. 6,000 megawatts, that's a good chunk of electricity to get some agricultural production up and running. And also another quirky thing I might ask you, how reasonable does this sound? You know, we were all told that this area of the world is going to dry out into just a cinder crisp here. But look at the size of this dam that was being constructed as the same time, speaking out of the left side of the mouth, it's going to get drier, drier, drier. They're building the largest dam in Africa in the exact same locations. And magically, 1 year later, it is full. That's because two cyclones somehow made their way out of their normal trajectory and just dumped right over that area in Afar region and filled it up. Ethiopia, a lot of rainfall coming down there suddenly with that dam. So with this dam being built, Egypt is angrier than a hornet, fears its water supply is going to be negatively impacted. Sudan, concerned about water levels and flood risk as well. Stirred up the hornet's nest on the water rights and usages further downstream. And suddenly there's conflicts all over the place. Wow, imagine that. It's all about the water. You're looking up at Tigray, which is the far north and west. And then where the Renaissance Dam is right about the center there in Gumaz, far west. And then that region right between the two, Amhara. And following and reading through the headlines over the last couple of months, Tigray conflict threatens what? The Ethiopian dam. And now just recently, United Nations is involved. Ethiopia claiming one thing, Tigray claiming quite another. Ethnic problems here, there, and everywhere. I wanted to dig into this because I know there's another dam right up there, and I thought, well, what's really going on? So I spent some time reading, like hours and hours and hours, just to find out what this conflict was about. Now, the Rwandan held the best explanation that I could find. So I'll read it for you here because the text is a bit small. The latest Ethiopian conflict was provoked by the old power elite hailing from Tigray. Now, this is the same bunch that ruled with an iron fist from 1991 to 2018. The unthinkable acts during this time, that's the same crew that lost everything and it was forced out of power with the new government being set. The old guard retreated back to their power base of Tigray, the region. Now they want the power back because the dam's there, the electricity's there. Now what's going to be flowing through that whole electrical supply? A stablecoin for Africa to pay the workers and get the supplies to then build out that entire grow zone. You need electricity to have a stablecoin. You need the electricity to run the pumps and everything else involved in big ag. The old power elite had the reins of power wrestled from them. They do not want to go quietly into the night because there's so much to lose moving forward. And suddenly in the same exact area that there's problems. But there's also a 300 megawatt dam up there. So if you were to grab that on some sort of breakaway, that would be a base also for a newly emerged region. Tekezi hydropower project, 300 megawatts. And as a matter of fact, it's the deepest of the dams in Africa. It might not be the largest, but it's the deepest. And then it flooded all those really deep canyons, which contain an enormous amount of artifacts and history in there from at least 10,000 years going back into the past. The region that you're looking right here contains the Tigray area and the Tekezi Dam as well. And you can see the runoff drainage basins right there. And what I found so fascinating was, as was described in the Rwandan article, the old guard, the power iron fists, the Tigray area has the city of Aksum, where you can see the archaeological ruins, who also controlled the trade routes from Yemen all the way through Mecca, through Petra up in Jordan, the frankincense roots. And you know what? They also minted their own gold coinage. After the Roman Empire collapsed, this coinage from the Aksum was the standard for precise gold weight measurements. And it's all surrounded in this region. This much history in one single place, vying for power and the new electrification in the middle of the food chain of the center of the new grow zone. On the eastern periphery of it, nothing's a coincidence like this. And I would highly encourage you to read the history of the area, especially with what was called the Old Guard from 1991 to 2018. There's hundreds of billions of dollars at stake, whoever controls this electrical output from the country into the food grow zone. And with this much energy going into controlling new grow zones and food production, prices rising all around us, it's a good idea to get some storable foods. My Patriot Supply and Adapt 2030, the 2-week or the 4-week emergency food supply. They also have longer food supply packages, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, as well as the Mylar bags and everything you need if you have bulk foods that you want to store yourself. My Patriot Supply, the links in the description box below, along with all the stories and all the images to tonight's video. I do appreciate you watching. It's a great way to support the channel, and I'll see you next time.